Hello, everybody. It is your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. So happy to have you guys here. Okay, so what I am here for today is something I said we were not going to do, but it came with conditions, and those conditions came up. So, yes, this yarn haul was justified. So don't fuss at me, because I'm not trying to hurt. Okay, so before we get to the yum yum yarn, we are going to talk about the other things that I got. You know, you can't go to Dollar Tree and just get yarn. It just doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. So the first thing I got, which may not be understood by many, I got me some felt. It is 12 by 43, well, 11.75 inches by 42 inches. It is the felt roll in the color of purple. Wow. It's distributed right out of Chesapeake. I used to work over there. When I saw 500 Volvo Parkway, I'm like, the hotel was right around the corner from that. I remember that. It's not very thick at all, but I think it'll do what I need it to do. When I saw it, I haven't envisioned the whole thing yet, but I want to enhance my signage. My sign that says Create and Relate, I want to do a little more with it. And the other thing I want to do is, instead of sticking holes in my walls and doors, I want to have a backdrop that I can put everything on, to reduce, putting those holes in everything. And I think this will give me what I need to do that. So instead of green screen, I'll have a purple screen. So that was one thing that I got. And then they have this scented area back by the air fresheners of their little fragrances, I assume, called Bottle Up Joy. And they had four varieties over there. One of them did not appeal to me by name, or I don't even remember the color of the bottle. It didn't, I think it said forest something. No. And then the other one, which I thought I was going to absolutely love, said mint something. So I thought it was going to smell really, really, really minty. No spearmint, no double mint, no mint, no peppermint. No I mint, no you mint, no we mint, no. It smelled very earthy. It smelled like topsoil right after it rains, with no mint. There was just no mint. But they had two other fragrances. Now, first of all, if you have the kind of top that screws off, rather than taking the chance of being offensive to the other shoppers in the store, if you want to smell it, please unscrew it, sniff it, and screw it back on tightly. Okay? Don't miss the air. Don't do that. You may leave a person that's allergic to it walking into it. That's very disrespectful. So keep that in mind. If it's something that you can't unscrew, I hate to tell you to just kind of trust it. Air fresheners generally are not that expensive, and usually if it's something that you don't like the fragrance of, then a family member or a friend usually does. So it can be an impromptu gift. But that's just something to keep in mind. Now, I got one of each of the other. I sprayed this one in my bathroom because I love fruity citrus smells. I sprayed this one in my bedroom because I love fruity citrus smells. But they're not the same. So I went with the Crimson Citrus. Crimson Citrus. To me, it smells like the grapefruits that are advertised on the bottle. It smells more like the rind of the grapefruit. To me, that's where most of the smell is. So it's not overpowering, but it is kind of strong. I like it because I used 2 spritzes in my bathroom. I have a really large bathroom. My bathroom is probably the size of a generous nursery. So it's really huge. And just to have to spray 2 spritzes in there was absolutely amazing and mind-blowing to me. That means this bottle will last forever, even if I just give it 2 spritzes a day. Yeah, this, I can see this lasting a month or more. So I think it's a really good deal for $1.25. What I plan on doing after I wash my rugs, which is coming up this weekend, when I get them out of the dryer, I will spritz each rug one time, and I'll do my 2 spritzes in the air. So that's a good deal. The other one is Velvet Peach. Velvet Peach. This one, guys, love, love, love. This is for my bedroom, okay? This is at night before I go to sleep. Put 2 spritzes on my bed, and I know that I will sleep like an angel, because I used to be one of those I want to sleep outside girls. And we had a peach tree in our backyard, and I would sleep close to the peach tree when my mama let me sleep outside. Yes. It smells like a peach tree growing from good soil. Of the 3 that I smell, there's a hint of like fresh soil in it. It's that, and you don't have to be a country person to understand. If you deal in flowers and gardening, you know what that topsoil smells like when it's really fresh and aromatic. It just gives you this breath of clean, and it's not synthetic clean. It's a very pure, organic kind of clean that you smell. And each one of these, of the 3 that I smell, is laced with that. So you don't get the fakery that you get on a lot of other things, but it is present. It is very present. This is very peachy. It's very peachy without, again, being overpowering. I sprayed 2 sprays in my room. First of all, I got back about 11:30 this morning, and it is now 4:30 in the evening, so 5 hours ago, and I can still smell, and it's not because I've been handling it. I've been handling both of them, but I can still smell a tinge of peach in the air. So they're really, really good. And if their formula stays the same, I would suggest that you invest. Sorry about that. My foot got tangled up in the cord. But I would suggest that you really, really consider diving deep with that one. Okay, now I think I'm turning into a rainbow girl. Ah! Okay, kitty, that's a box. Yes, it's a box. That's pink on the bottom, and it's got 2 drawers. When I saw it, only one thing came to mind. Only one thing came to mind. Stitch markers. Stitch markers. That's the only thing I thought of. I only have one stitch marker that needs to go in here. It's going in the top drawer. The stitch marker has never been used. It's the only personalized stitch marker I have ever had in my life. It was made by IVB, our own IVB, and I absolutely love it. And I will. It's showcased right now, and it's gonna stay that way because it's absolutely beautiful, and I don't want anything to happen to it. And I lose stitch markers like crazy. I also give away stitch markers whenever I send off an item, or you know, am gifting an item or whatever. I throw some stitch markers in there just so people will have them. I usually try to listen to what their favorite colors are, and I try to send stitch markers that correspond with their colors. Just a little cheat, something I try to do. So, that brings us to the lusciousness. So, upon going back and looking for more, I think this is 800 meters. I don't know how much this is, y'all. It's a lot, and it's 5 skeins. You all have seen this many times, so you know that this is already in existence. But there is a color that I told you all that I wanted to add to this. Can anybody tell me what that color is? I'm listening. No, not white. It's already got white in it. No, not red. It's got the maroon. This is the color that I wanted. But there was an accent color that I wanted to go with it. Can you tell me what that color is? Okay, so purple is my favorite color, but that's not it. Guys, look at this together. Look at it. Y'all don't understand. I'm gonna have to give you the full picture. Oh my goodness, this is the first time I've opened the pack. Look at that. Can you not see this outlined and highlighted with the black? And of course, hold on, I have to put this back. It has to stay packaged up, because if I leave it unpackaged, then I'm gonna stop what I'm working on and I'm gonna start on this, and I can't do that. So this is our own Premier Just Yarn. Yes, it is 50 grams, and I got 8 of them, which means that I got 400 grams. Where is it? Yep, see, it says 50 grams. So I got 400 grams. They are 109 yards each. So that's 879 yards, 872 yards, 800 meters. And it is the black. And it's not wiry. It's not prickly. It's not stiff. It's not unpleasant. It's not sticky. It's not stinky. It's perfect for what I need. My only fear when I went in, because I went specifically for this, was that they weren't going to have enough. So I was pleasantly surprised that they had enough. They only have 1 4-foot section of yarn in the whole store. And I was really thinking I was going to have to ask my daughter to take me to the other Dollar Tree. And I really didn't want... I hate to bother people. I hate to bother people. You know, you have some people that can kind of make you feel like, oh, really? No, I didn't want to be made to feel that way. So I was praying that, oh, I busted my bag. It's okay. It's okay. I'm still not going to use it until it's time. That means I can go ahead and knock that bag. And I guess I am happy he gave me an extra bag. I asked the cashier for 1 bag only. And when I left the store, I had 3 bags. When I was on the phone with my other daughter, I was like, did you not hear me ask him for 1 bag only? She said, yeah. I said, so why do I have 3 bags? She said, because you're so beautiful. I heard the conversation too. He just couldn't stop talking to you. I'm like, go ahead on now. Go ahead on. Go ahead on. Mess around and come home and be Big Mama's boy toy. You better stop playing. Let me stop. Somebody just fell out the chair laughing at me. Get up. Just get up. Y'all know I'm a nut. Whew. I don't know how to behave. I will ask you guys to hold on for 1 moment. I need to have a word with my grandson. Sorry about that. I'm back. So, to show you all where I am on the piece that I'm working on that has no name. Well, I'm going to say it like this. It has a name. It has a home. I just can't say the name or the home right now because I don't want to give the surprise away. But this is where we were. This is what you all saw. This is where we've gotten to. I think you saw this part of it yesterday around to about here. Well, we've added all of this, and we would have had more done, but last night after watching Marty and Michelle, I kind of packed everything up and went to bed. I was really, really, really tired. And then when I got up this morning, it's been like run. You know, I jumped on my phone and answered some messages that I had gotten. Jumped on Sunita's live and saw that Mama C's cottage was going to be up and running today. So I knew that I had to do everything I had to do by 12 and get back home by 12. I knew that I had to feed my babies. So while I was out, I had to pick up something to eat for them. I knew I wanted to go to the store and get those items. So yeah, you know, it's been a busy day, that's all. But we were able to get done everything that we had to get done. Got back home, went in the cottage. After the cottage, got up and picked up a few things around the house. Went and got the babies from the bus stop. Sat down and had lunch with the babies. Washed my dishes. And then came back here for an evening with you guys. There was something that I wanted to talk to you about. I just have to try to talk about it without being so passionate about it. If any of you are in the position of being like CEOs or business owners that have people working under you, realize that those people who are not members of management, even some that are management you're working over, or who are not on the board, etc., just, you know what, let's keep it Let's keep it all inclusive. Remember that the next person to you has a life. They have their own set of challenges. They have their own set of this is my life events. They have things going on that you may or may not be aware of. But just like you're going through, so are they. And these days and times, everybody is going through. And learn where your I'm sorry, I'm seeing red lights flashing, but I don't see them. As long as I don't see them out there, I'm okay, I guess. I'm sorry. But keep your emotions as much as possible out of the game, because okay, let's say Paul is the director of the board, and excuse me, Sean has managed this company for years, but Paul has never cared for Sean. He doesn't like the fact that he's so upbeat and perky. Nobody can be that upbeat and perky. It's just aggravating to Sean. So when Sean goes to visit all of his stores, he tries to make sure, even though the store that Sean runs is his #1 selling store, his personality just doesn't click with Sean. So he tries to make that the quickest visit possible. So Sean misses work one day. And Paul's immediate line of defense is fire him. Get rid of him. We don't need him. Because he personally doesn't like him. Never mind the fact that Sean has hired lay people and has sent out management to run Paul's other stores. And they're running those stores a lot like Sean runs his. So these are high volume stores. You know, he has that business mentality where he can get along with his employees and his customer base. But because it's different than what Paul sees, Paul wants to run everything with an iron hand instead of with a little joy and relaxation, and, you know, we can still get the job done. So, like I said, Paul misses a day. The message, for some reason, didn't come through when Sean misses a day, and for some reason the message that he had to leave in voicemail didn't come through until later that day. And they find out that Sean's wife had an emergency and had to be rushed to the hospital. Sean is there. They got her in a medically induced coma, trying to figure out what's going on. Well, Paul doesn't know this. All he knows is that Sean didn't show up. But the assistant manager is there and everything is moving along smoothly. They are just concerned about Sean. Just wanted to know, this typically isn't like him. So say 6 hours into the day, this voice message or the message to the message service finally comes through, and then they finally get it. Well, by this time, Paul has said fire. You know, even though this man has never missed a day of work in his life, never been late a day in his life, has done all of this for this company as far as helping it to grow and pushing out managers and all this good stuff, all the positive things that Sean has done. Paul's line of defense is fire him because he personally doesn't like Sean. Literally the best person you have working in your company. If any of you are like Paul, please get over yourself. Please understand that people have lives. Please understand that you don't know. It could have been a situation like mine. Mine could have been a lot different than it was. I got a phone call at work one day where the doctor was telling me to be in his office at 9 o'clock the next day. Well, if you know anything about 7-Eleven, the schedule is made out at least a week in advance. So tell me to be there the next day, and I'm on the schedule to work from 7 to 3. Sound like 9 o'clock, I'm going to be at my job. You know, fortunately, I had a manager there who understood that if a doctor was calling me, telling me to be at their office the next day, it must be something serious, so she told me to go head on. You know, and suppose it was that kind of call with Sean. Suppose he walked into this doctor's office and the doctor told him that he's had stage 2 pancreatic cancer and walked out, just left him with his jaws dropped open, and he doesn't know left to right, up or down, doesn't know what's going on. You know, it could have been something much more dramatic or devastating than it was. And this person not knowing, you know, it is, and the reason I bring this up, or the reason I think about it, is because when it happens to you, the Pauls of the companies, the Pauls of the world, then you want people to be sympathetic and understanding to you and your needs. And 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna happen. I'm sure you've heard the saying, you reap what you sow. You know, it was in Michelle's quote of the day earlier this week. And you have to know that I said it in a poem that I recently wrote and posted on Facebook. When you get the negativity, 9 times out of 10, it's because you planted bad seeds. You cannot reap sunflowers if you throw chewed up sunflower seeds in the holes. Something has got to be together enough. There has to be some good in it somewhere for something good to be produced of it. And if you keep throwing out negativity and acting all nasty and whatever, then when it comes back to you, look in that mirror. When you ask the question, how did this happen? Look in the mirror. Hate to come to you on a down note, but had to put it out there. We just recently had a situation within our household that wasn't as dramatic or bad, but it did leave a person very upset. Also understand that when employees come to work, they could be a lot like me. I don't go to work to make friends. I'm not going to be nasty or rude or unapproachable, but I go to work to do my job to the best of my ability so that this company can thrive and move forth. That is the type of worker I am. Now, if I develop a friend or a friendship along the way, then that's a plus. But ultimately, I'm here to do my job, and I'm here to do it well. My granddaddy had a saying for me. And he started teaching me this when I was a little girl. Please forgive the language, but this was coming from my grandfather. And when I say what he used to call me, you can tell how far back it went. They called me baby until I was 7 years old. I was 5 years old when I learned my name was Catherine. Okay, that's sad. But anyway, my grandfather said to me, quote, baby, when you go to work on these people jobs, always understand that you are not there to kiss anybody's ass, unquote. That's what my granddaddy used to tell me all the time. And I'm not there to make friends. I'm ultimately there to make sure that I'm going to be secure enough to make this paycheck to come home and handle the business that I need to handle so that I can live from day to day. And that's the mentality of a lot of people. Now, a lot of people, I'm getting on the workers too, so don't think I'm just going for the bosses. Those of you that are just there for the paycheck and not for making that company better than what it is or yourself better, you need to leave. You're not happy. You're not happy. You're making everybody around you miserable. You're even making yourself miserable. Anytime you go to that job and you're complaining from the time you walk in the door until the time you leave, that is not for you, and we don't need to hear all of that. Bye. Just bye. Keep it moving, please. That's aggravating. Aggravation 101. I don't know why I even bothered to come here today. We don't either, boo-boo. Go clock out. Why I got to look in these people's faces? You don't. Go clock out. I need my paycheck just like the next person. You got a choice. Find you something else or learn to love it where you are. Boom. You don't have to be a Debbie Downer every day. All of that leads to, we need to treat our business the same way. If you're not loving what you're doing, find something else. It's better to be authentically in love with what you're doing than it is to show the fakery and accidentally get caught saying what you really feel at the end of your video. And then not editing it, not even looking at it to see that you slipped up. This isn't even a crochet thing, but I'm not saying that it cannot happen in the crochet community. It's actually another video that I saw recently, like yesterday. And the guy said how he really felt at the end of the video. It didn't take but 6 seconds for this person to say what they really felt. And it was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And it's sad because that video will go viral based on what this person said, and then the negative comments will come, you know, and they might even be forced to leave. But if you don't love what you're doing, don't do it. Find what it is that you love. Push that agenda, but don't just jump on something because you see other people doing it. Don't do that. I mean, even if you don't slip up like this young man did and, you know, just let it all spill and be known at the end, it's going to bleed through. It's going to show through that you really do not care for where you are and what you're doing. Me, I love to talk. If you have not figured that out by now. I love to talk, I love to laugh, I love to shop, I love to crochet. You know, there are a lot of things that I love to do that are right here in this channel, and it gives me the opportunity to do this. And this week's sitting here having a conversation with the walls. At least I know when I push the upload video, somebody is going to hear it. Yeah, so be mindful. Like I said, if I did not love doing this and I was doing it anyway, and I'm not, there are some things in life that we've had to do that with, you know, and do it with the understanding that it needs to be done, and there's no need to complain about it, because tomorrow, if it is a job, a 9-to-5 job, 4 to 5 day a week job, then tomorrow you're going to have to come back and do the same thing. So why complain about it? But if you do your job and you do your job well, and you're not comfortable with certain things that are happening because of the fact that you do such an excellent job, your job may cater to what you need so that it will be a pleasant experience for you. But you have to, there has to be some sort of love there for it. When I was at the second 7-Eleven, was when my mobility started getting bad and when I was passing out a lot. So they made it so that I only ran one register. All I was responsible for was ringing people up and doing the cigarettes, counting cigarettes, stocking cigarettes, ordering cigarettes, all of that good stuff. Everything was right there together. It was not required for me to be all over the store from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. So when I got to the hotel and I was still having, issues, and they realized that, the mobility had gotten worse and me standing, then of course something as simple as a doctor's note afforded me the opportunity to be able to sit down while I did my job at the front desk. And I was still able to do an A1 job. Still got positive reviews, still got, we'll go home racking up the 10 for 10s. I would. 10 for 10 was when a person did a survey, if they mentioned your name and gave you a 10 in your department, you would get $10. But they had to mention your name and you had to get a 10 in the department in which you worked. So when they checked in, if they said your checking experience, then when you got to write the little note, if they mentioned your name, Kitty was great. Kitty was very informative. Kitty let us know about certain restaurants. Kitty let us know about these activities. Kitty was very knowledgeable of this. Kitty directed us to, when they said that, and then they gave the overall rating, the stars from 1 to 10, and they colored in the number 10 star, and that was $10 in my pocket. And that's what I was shooting for every day. I felt, to the point that they changed the program. Because Kitty was going home every week with extra money. And a big part of that was that I loved what I was doing. I was meeting people. I was able to crochet while I was there. Yes. It would fascinate people when they came in. When I knew it was somebody's birthday, I would sing happy birthday to them. Got a lot of tips for that too. But yeah, those types of things. You get to know people. I love getting to know people. I love learning about people. I just think people themselves are fascinating. So, in doing all of this and to be able to talk to a person in that little 5 to 7 minutes that you have right there at the front desk just made everything so beautiful, and then when everything would slow down and they'd come back downstairs and they'd just stand and hold conversation with you, you get to learn about other cultures, they get to learn about you and your culture. You find out that one of the biggest things was after I found out that I had another whole family, and my nephew was, or still is, I don't want to get his title wrong. He's a news commentator. So I would ask people, especially when they came in from Georgia, are you familiar with Corey McGinnis? And they're like, oh yeah, I watch him on TV. He does the news here, blah, 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 blah. And the whole while I'm pulling up the picture in the phone of me and Corey. And I'm like, they're like, you met him? I'm like, he's my nephew. Oh my God, and I'm like, I feel the same way you feel. I got a celebrity nephew. So having moments like that, or seeing people who came from North Carolina, right around the neighborhood where I grew up, and to just drop my last name because it was really big back home, and you tell them, I'm a Hodges. I remember Uncle Landy, that was my granddaddy. Oh, I remember Aunt Cassie, that was my grandmama. They used to keep this little girl, that was their granddaughter. Hi. I met the young lady that the granddaughter of my next door neighbors that would only come in town every now and then, and she and I would always play together. Of course, we call each other cousins now. We're like very grown. This was like, oh my God. It was like 55, 56, 57 years ago. And Teresa, bless your heart, love you. But to know, to be reminded of how we played together as kids, lost contact with each other, and then she's checking into the hotel where I'm working. We didn't recognize each other. I just saw that she was from, had Wilson, North Carolina in her portfolio. And I told them, that I'm from Wilson. Grew up on the corner of Reed and Green. And she was like, my grandparents used to live close to the corner of Reed and Green. Did you know the Bonies? I'm like, they were our next door neighbor. You remember the little girl that used to come play? And I'm like, and we're not little girls. We're like grandmothers now. But we hugged each other and jumped around like we were still those little girls. And it was fascinating to me, and I learned to love it, and I reached out and I put myself in a position to get those extra tens, because not only did it mean the little bonus in my pocket, if we want to talk about the personal aspects of it, I was taking care of my mother. My mother was on a fixed income, okay? My mother's diet would change daily. Today she wanted lamb chops and spinach, and tomorrow she wanted a fish burger. And it was like every day I left the house, it was something different. And her monies, thankfully, pretty much took care of the households, but then there was nothing left to take care of her. So I did that, and it sometimes went outside of my paycheck because I was making a car payment, I was paying for insurance, not only auto insurance, but health insurance. I had things that I was covering as well, paying off a student loan, trying to get my debt down, and taking care of my mom. So when I would do those, when I stepped up and put myself in a position to get that, then I was helping my mom out. But not only that, from the non-selfish part of it, it looked good for the company, because the more you get those tens out there, the more you say, hey, the check-in experience was great there, and they, I remember the last time I went to such and such place, I had to wait for somebody to get to the front desk, and she acted like she was just trying to rush me up to a room. She yelled my room number all out loud and didn't offer any assistance, but you remember that here. And lots of times, your check-in experience sets the tone for the rest of your stay. You can have a beautiful check-in experience and walk into a room that's like, meh, but it's okay because when you walked into that hotel and you were tired from your trip, I mean, just like tired, and this person standing behind that desk just gave you the giggle of a lifetime, or just made, understood the fact that you were tired, even offered to assist you with things up to your room, and even though you told them no, just the fact that they did was like, would give you that wow moment, and when you get in your room, you're like, smells like smoke. Okay, I'm on the 3rd floor. I'll just open the balcony. Oh my God, they haven't dusted down here. But you know what? It's all good. We'll handle all of that tomorrow. As opposed to someone being snooty and here's your key. You're in room 319. Yeah, there you go. Trying to rush them out of your face and everything. And then when they get upstairs and they get to room 319, and they're like, no. They come downstairs. No, okay, just reverse the payment. Do whatever you got to do. I'm staying, so I don't even want to deal with it. Because you're tired when you get there. You had a nasty experience at the front desk. The last thing you want to deal with is the room. But I'm saying, when you walk into this place and it's like, So you had that one perfect moment. And then you get the mindset, well, you know what? Everything can't be perfect. It's still good. I'll be okay. We can fix all of this tomorrow. You go to sleep tonight, you get up in the morning, and you ask the housekeeping staff, can you pay a little more attention to blah, 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 blah. Got you. Okay, you come back to your room the next day. You say hey to the front desk clerk because it's the same one that checks you in. You're like, hey, what's up? Stop a whole little conversation, go up to your room, and it's pristine now. It's that all goes towards, because you made them comfortable enough to stay, then all of that helps to boost the hotel itself. Until next year this time, instead of having those 5 floating rooms that you have had, from year to year to year. You remember when it used to be sold out, and now it's, then it dwindled down to 1 room, then it was 3, and then it was 4, and now it's 5, and you're scared the next year it might be 6. But now that you boosted the hotel, here you are the following year looking at it's sold out. Here in the off season, because they've spread the word so much, times that they are nowhere near sold out, we're sold out. Well, what in the world is going on? I guess we're just that good, and then that's what all I'm trying to say is, from whatever aspect, remember that the next person next to you is a human being just like you are. And instead of taking your personal whatever out on them, put yourself in a different pair of shoes and ask yourself, if I didn't do such and such, what would happen to me? If I had an emergency situation to come up, would it even be considered, or would they be like Paul and just say, let them go? So just think about it. Be mindful of other people. Consider other people. They're human beings too. They make mistakes. They have things that they're going through. Be mindful. Like Morris Page, mindfully crochet. Crochet mindfully. Be mindful. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I really need to get this blanket done. This is day 6 of the blanket. It is supposed to be completed tomorrow. My goal is to complete it tonight, because I really want to finish the next thing that I have to finish. What my objective is to make one, finish one, make one, finish one, make one, finish one. So if I forgive me, I have run into something that I'm not, my skin has not been right for 4 days. The itching all across here and down my arms and my back. And I don't know what it is. I have no idea. We figured out that it's not the soap. We did a soap test. I use only Dove. It's not deodorant. It's not any of my Bath and Body Works. It's not any of those. I don't even use that around my neck, but there is something that has really been irritating me. I don't know if you can see it, but they're like teeny weeny little bumps. They're the little allergy bumps all along there and right here, and all of the upper portion of my arms here. Yeah, and the forearms, oh my goodness. Yeah, so every night I douse with alcohol. And I called my doctor yesterday, and she's gonna look into it. I go to her Wednesday, and we're gonna look into getting it done, getting it fixed. I think I'll be all right until I go see her. But in the meantime, in between time, don't you forget to what? Be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do. Well, no, there is one more thing. I want you to remember what? Exactly. Remember that Kitty loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streams, peace out, everybody. I love you.